Hello everyone. So it's Monday night, I have to put up a video by tomorrow, and I'm about 1/7 of the way finished editing the X-Files Season 5, and I'm about 1/4 of the way done with another video, and it's 8:30, I do not have the time to edit the rest of the video by the time it needs to go up. And I'm disappointed with myself, but hey, on the bright side, my house is clean, dinner is made for the entire week, and you know what? I think that's about the most I should expect from myself right now. I don't have a lot of short video ideas ready to go right now. I kind of burned through all of them, waiting to make the big ones, and here we are. So rather than let anxiety control my channel, I'm going to control this channel with my anxiety. Bear with me, I swear I have a point here. So I'm going to share with you some of my anxiety tips that help me get through something like this. So I am a fidgeter. I tend to pick at things and just scratch myself and things like that. I pick at my clothes. I have a tendency to tear out lint from my pockets, things like that. And when I was about 10 years old, I figured out that I was destroying my clothes, and that was not going to be sustainable for me. So I took to rubbing my fingers together and sort of that kind of thing. I also tend to bite my nails and cuticles and things like that, none of which are great ways to cope with that. So now whenever I get that particular kind of urge to pick at something, I play with this. This is basically a glass ball in a plastic tube. It's just rough enough to be stimulating on my fingertips without being risky or dangerous or anything like that. And the pressure feels good, and I love these. They're dirt cheap. I may or may not put an Amazon link. It's not like I'm getting any money for it. No affiliate links or any of that stuff. But yeah, this helps a lot. You can mess with the ends of it. They make variations of these. They make one that has a keychain clip that clips to your pants. They make one that has 2 balls in it, things like that. These are perfect for me. They're quiet. They're just a little thing. I can mess with them in my pocket if I can't really show what I'm doing, but generally just a nice little fidget distraction type toy, and it helps me a lot. And if I destroy these, I don't care because I bought them specifically for that purpose, and they're cheap. Another thing I like to mess with are fidget cubes. Now these are much noisier, especially if you buy you can't see that, especially if you buy the really cheap ones. They make a good deal of noise, but they're fine if you're in a place where you can make noise and nobody's going to be upset by it. Not so great for an office environment, but there are ways to do it silently, of course, but it's not a bad option. There's a bunch of little ways you can mess with it. A couple little doodads on here. They're fun, cheap again, not bad. That's one way I deal with it. Another thing that really works for me is Sudoku. Something about it, it's just a little bit algorithmic, a little bit mathematical, it's fun, it's mindless sometimes, it helps me fall asleep in some cases, and you feel like you're actually playing towards some particular goal or something, unlike 2048 where you're like, well, this is impossible. But 2048 has worked for me in the past. I don't know, something about the mechanics of it, the swiping action is a little intense for me when I'm a little anxious, but for some reason Sudoku works just fine. And I find that the interface for the app has to be just right, and I do like to do it electronically rather than on paper, because something about the tactility of paper just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. I think I get more bothered by it in newspaper type setting because the erasing doesn't work so well, and that's why I like the electronics so much. Another thing that seems to work for me is organizing my calendar. Just having that sense of control and you're in charge of your scheduling and plotting and things you want to do that are fun and things like that definitely helps me sometimes. It has to be the right kind of anxiety where I can actually think enough to really do that, but it does definitely help me feel like I'm in control of my life a little bit. Another thing that works pretty well for me when I'm anxious is to watch speedrunners. And particularly watching them at 1.5x on YouTube or something like that really works for me for some reason. It's just frantic enough, and it really only works for me with games that I know really well. because then I don't have to immerse myself in trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do in the game and how they're doing it differently and all that. I can just enjoy the run, and I don't know, something about it just really distracts me enough, I guess. Actually, one of the bigger signs that I'm having anxiety is the fact that I'll be watching something, listening to something, and just basically trying to overstimulate myself and not feeling anything from it. And that's never a good sign for me. That's usually a sign of, oh, I'm trying to distract myself from something overwhelming. That's not good. Another coping mechanism that's always worked for me is doing math. Some kinds of math are just mechanical, and that sort of repetitious kind of figuring things out algorithmically kind of thing really works for me. I know I'm a little biased because I'm a programmer and algorithms are kind of my thing, but stuff like that really makes me feel a little more grounded, a little more in control of my attention and things like that. Another one, which is also partly responsible for me not doing a proper video this week, that really works for me, is Pokemon Go. It's just the right level of engaging and grinding and just repetitive kind of thing that it really, really works for me. Plus, by the end of it, I get bragging rights to all my friends about the Pokemon I've got that they don't. One bad habit that I'm trying to break out of is I tend to play with the ends of my hair. And, it's all split to hell. It's, it doesn't like when I do that. I need to not do that. But that's more of that picking kind of thing that I do. So I have better ways of dealing with that now than I used to. And this is going to sound really stupid, but one of the absolute best things, in my opinion, that you can do to try to deal with anxiety is to drink more water. If you're like me, you tend to sweat when you're anxious, you tend to just need more water. It's just that simple. And I know it's stupid, but it is a self-care thing, and really, you'd have to really try to have too much water in your life. So I guess that's it. There's not a lot of content here, I know that. I just wanted to put something up this week, and I figured it was kind of ironic to let my anxiety fix the thing that it broke by just talking about it. I hope that some of you found some of that useful or interesting at least. I don't know. Tell me what you think, what works for you with anxiety, what works for you when you feel fidgety, what works for you to stay connected with the world and grounded in the task you're supposed to be working on. Again, I would like to apologize for the bad angles that I'm giving you today, for the bad lighting. Again, it's 8:30 on Monday night, and I am nowhere near done with any other video, and I definitely want to put something up. And I figure sharing this is relatively easy for me to talk about and might actually be better than something half done going up tomorrow. And that just, yeah. So, thank you for stopping by. I'll be back again next week with a video that will be complete and properly filmed and lit, hopefully. So until then, stay curious.